There is a 2-liter bottle of vinegar sitting on my porch right now that I mixed this morning, and by this afternoon, the weeds growing through the cracks in my stone path will be brown and dead. That same mixture, with one ingredient added to it, will keep those cracks clean for 30 days without me touching them again. And I am going to show you something beyond that which will keep a fence line or a gravel drive bare for up to a full year. 4 methods, cheapest to strongest, and I will tell you exactly when to use each one and why. My name is Samuel Yoder. I farm in Lancaster County in Pennsylvania. I have been managing weeds on this property for over 30 years without a lawn care service. This is what I use and exactly how I use it. Before any method makes sense, you need to understand what a weed is responding to, because the root is the whole problem. A weed that you burn at the surface but do not kill at the root will regrow. It does not matter how dead the top looks. If the root is alive, the plant is alive, and it will send up new growth within 2 to 3 weeks. Every method I am going to describe works differently in terms of how deep it reaches, and choosing the right one depends entirely on whether you need to kill the surface, the root, or the soil itself for an extended period. Weeds also differ in how hard they are to kill. Small annual weeds that have germinated recently, the kind that sprout in flower bed mulch and in sidewalk cracks after rain, are the easiest to eliminate because their root systems are shallow and their tissue is tender. Large perennial weeds with established root masses and grasses like torpedo grass, which spread through underground rhizomes, require something that can move systemically through the plant and reach those deeper structures. Knowing which type you are dealing with before you mix anything saves you from applying the wrong method and getting no results. The first method and the cheapest one is 30% acetic acid vinegar mixed with a small amount of dish soap. Standard kitchen vinegar is 5% acetic acid, which is not strong enough to kill most weeds reliably. 30% vinegar is available at hardware stores and farm supply stores for around $17 a jug, and one jug will treat a large area. The higher acid concentration is what makes it work where kitchen vinegar does not. The dish soap serves a specific purpose. Vinegar sprayed on a waxy leaf surface will bead up and run off without penetrating the plant tissue, the same way water beads on a freshly waxed surface. Dish soap is a surfactant, meaning it breaks that surface tension and allows the vinegar to spread across and stick to the leaf rather than rolling off. 2 tablespoons of soap per spray bottle of vinegar is sufficient. You do not need more than that. More soap does not increase the killing effect. How this method kills the plant is worth understanding. The acetic acid in the vinegar burns the leaf tissue on contact and disrupts the plant's ability to photosynthesize. The plant essentially desiccates from the surface down. On small, recently germinated weeds with shallow roots, this is often enough to kill the entire plant, because there is not enough root mass to send up new growth. On established weeds with deep roots, the surface burns but the root survives and regrowth occurs within a few weeks. Apply this on a dry, sunny day with no rain forecast for at least 24 hours. Rain dilutes the application before it can penetrate. Spray directly onto the weed leaves until they are wet but not dripping. You will see browning begin within a few hours on tender weeds. Within 3 days, small annual weeds will be completely desiccated. Larger or more established weeds may show surface burn but show green regrowth within 2 to 3 weeks, which tells you that you need the next method. This mixture is non-selective, meaning it will kill any green plant it contacts, including grass and desirable plants. Use a directed spray and be careful around anything you want to keep. A small pump spray bottle gives you more precision than a large sprayer for working in flower beds around perennials. If this is the kind of practical knowledge you want more of, subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone who has been fighting weeds all season without a system that works. The second method is the same 30% vinegar and dish soap base with one addition, a half cup of regular table salt mixed into the bottle. This is not a dramatic change in how the mixture looks, but it changes what the mixture does to the soil after it soaks in. Salt draws moisture out of plant tissue through osmosis, which accelerates and deepens the desiccation that the vinegar begins at the surface. More importantly, salt that reaches the soil around the root creates a temporarily hostile environment for plant growth by disrupting the osmotic balance in the soil itself. The combination of vinegar burning the plant from the surface and salt working on the root zone gives this method better performance on weeds that the vinegar alone does not fully kill. The limitation is duration. Salt in the soil gets diluted by rainfall and irrigation over time, and in a wet season you may need to reapply every 3 to 4 weeks. In a dry season, the effect lasts longer. Expect roughly 30 days of suppression in average conditions before weeds begin to return. This method is appropriate for cracks in pavement, gravel paths, and areas between stones where you do not mind the soil being temporarily unfavorable for plant growth. It is not appropriate for areas near desirable plants or in garden beds because the salt will affect the soil for surrounding plants as well. Mix the salt thoroughly before spraying. Salt particles that do not fully dissolve will clog a spray bottle nozzle. Stir the mixture until the salt is completely dissolved, then apply. Apply the same way as the plain vinegar method, on a dry, sunny day, directly onto the weed leaves. For weeds in pavement, cracks, and gravel, you can be more generous with the application since there are no surrounding plants to protect. The third method steps beyond the vinegar-based approaches and into a commercially formulated herbicide that contains two active ingredients working together. One product that combines these is RM18, available at farm supply stores for around $40 a gallon, though several manufacturers produce similar formulations. I want to explain what the two active ingredients do, rather than just tell you to buy a specific brand. The first ingredient, glyphosate, is a systemic herbicide. Systemic means the plant absorbs it through the leaf tissue and it travels through the plant's vascular system down to the root. It works by blocking an enzyme pathway that the plant needs to produce amino acids, which eventually kills the entire plant, including the root. This is why glyphosate-based products kill roots when vinegar does not. The process is slower than a contact herbicide because the chemical has to move through the plant, but the result is a dead root rather than a burned surface. The second ingredient, Diquat, is a fast-acting contact herbicide. It works within hours by disrupting cell membranes in plant tissue and causing rapid oxidative damage. Diquat alone does not reach the root, but it provides the visible fast kill, while the glyphosate works its way through the plant over the following days. The combination gives you fast surface burn so you can see results quickly, and systemic root kill so the result is permanent rather than temporary. Mix this according to the label directions, typically 6 to 8 ounces per gallon of water. Add a surfactant to the mixture to help the herbicide adhere to the leafy surface. The same dish soap used in the vinegar method works, though dedicated surfactants available at farm supply stores perform better. Apply with a pump sprayer on a calm day. Wind drift is a real concern with any liquid herbicide spray because a fine mist landing on a desirable plant will damage or kill it. Keep the spray nozzle close to the target plants and use a coarser spray setting rather than a fine mist if your sprayer allows for adjustment. Wait until the area is dry before allowing children or animals to walk through it. After the spray has dried, the residue is not a contact hazard, but wet herbicide on the ground can transfer to paws and feet. Expect results within 3 to 7 days. Large, hard-to-kill weeds and established grasses will show browning and collapse within that window. Reapplication may be needed in 60 to 90 days for areas with heavy weed pressure, since this formulation does not persist in the soil long term. The fourth method is for situations where you want no plant growth at all for an extended period. Gravel driveways, fence lines, cracks in concrete, areas under structures, and any space where you want bare ground and do not want to spray again for months. Products formulated for this purpose contain glyphosate combined with a soil sterilant, commonly imazapyr, which persists in the soil after application and prevents seed germination and root growth for up to 12 months. One such product is RM43 Total Vegetation Control. available at farm supply stores for around $40 to $45 per half gallon. The imazapyre component is what separates this from the previous method, where glyphosate kills existing plants but breaks down in the soil within weeks. Imazapyre remains active in the soil and prevents new growth from establishing. This is what produces the one-year suppression that shorter-acting herbicides cannot achieve. The trade-off is that the soil sterilization is not selective. Nothing will grow in a treated area for the duration of the effect, including grass seed you might want to establish later. Use this product only in areas where bare soil is the goal. It is well suited to gravel driveways where weeds push through the rock, fence lines where you want to eliminate the need for regular trimming, and the edges of structures where weeds emerge from cracks and gaps. It is not appropriate near trees or desirable shrubs because root systems extend well beyond the visible canopy, and a treatment near a tree's drip line can damage or kill the tree by affecting its feeder roots. Mix at 2 to 3 ounces per gallon of water for standard application. For areas with very heavy weed pressure, or where you want the longest possible suppression, the rate can be increased but should not exceed 6 ounces per gallon. Add a surfactant. Apply evenly over the target area with a pump sprayer on a calm day. The product goes to work immediately on contact with foliage and begins moving into the soil as the spray dries and rain or dew carries it downward. Results on existing vegetation are visible within 3 to 7 days. The 4 methods cover different situations, and choosing correctly saves you money and effort. For small annual weeds in flower beds and in pavement cracks that are freshly germinated and have no significant root mass, the 30% vinegar and dish soap mixture is sufficient and has no chemical residue to concern yourself with around garden plants. Apply it early in the growing season before weeds establish. For weeds that have been growing for several weeks and have developed some root mass, or for grass that has emerged in paths and driveways, add salt to the vinegar mixture. The extended root zone effect gives you better kill and suppression that lasts into the next growing cycle for that area. For established perennial weeds, hard-to-kill grasses like torpedo grass or crabgrass with spreading rhizomes, and any situation where the vinegar and salt method has produced surface burn but the weeds returned, use the glyphosate and diquat combination. These require systemic treatment to kill the root rather than just the surface, for fence lines, gravel driveways, edges along structures, and any area where bare ground is the long-term goal. Use the total vegetation control product with imazapyre. This is the method that eliminates the need for repeated spraying throughout the season. One practical note on timing. All of these methods work best when the weeds are actively growing and the weather is dry. A weed that is stressed by drought is already partially shut down, and its uptake of any herbicide is reduced. A weed growing vigorously in warm weather with adequate moisture is metabolically active and will absorb and distribute a systemic herbicide much faster. Early morning application on a warm day with no rain forecast gives the best results across all 4 methods. My grandfather managed fence lines and stone paths on this farm without a spray truck or a service contract, and the methods we used then are the same ones I have explained here, updated with what is now available, and understood about how these treatments work. The knowledge is not complicated. It just requires that you use the right tool for the right situation. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.